Welcome to Walks in Time, a podcast designed to put you in the shoes of someone else at a different point in history. In this episode, we join the great pianist and composer Clara Schumann on her concert tour of Russia. It's May in the year 1844. Clara and Robert, now 3.5 years into their marriage, have embarked on a tour in Russia to allow Clara to give concerts for Russian audiences. Clara had always dreamed of performing in Russia, and her dream has become a reality. The tour was planned to increase the family's income and Robert and Clara's artistic profiles. It's now been 4 months on the road in Russia. Back home, Clara and Robert's 2 daughters, Marie and Elise, are in the care of Clara's mother. Take some time to experience a day in Clara's shoes. You awake to the feeling of the rough linen sheets of your latest lodgings at the Station Inn in Petersburg. The sun, having risen at about 2 a.m, has well and truly brightened the room when you awake at 5 a.m. to the noise of construction and labourers on the streets below your second-floor room. You take a deep breath and allow your eyes to adjust to see the uneven floorboards with their slight tilt towards the small window, paint peeling from the tiles and a water stain showing on the low ceiling. The timber bed frame cracks and creaks as Robert stirs on the straw-stuffed mattress beside you. You gently fold the sheet and woolen blanket over and step down onto the floorboards to wash using cold water from a pitcher before dressing for the morning's activities. You put on your high-necked cotton dress, buttoning up the narrow cuffs of the long sleeves before buttoning up the bodice. The stiff starchiness of the fabric and the heaviness of the multiple layered skirt frame your young figure. Through the thin soles of your brown leather ankle-high boots, you can feel the unevenness of the floorboards. You part your hair at the centre and smooth and coil the length into a bun, which you secure with pins. You yawn as you head downstairs and off for a walk. You're tired and feeling increasingly worried about Robert's health. Getting out for a walk allows you to clear your head, mentally prepare for the evening's performances, and give Robert some much-needed rest. You'll be performing tonight for a Grand Princess. Not having access to a piano to practice on means you have to discipline your mind well, so a walk is very necessary. You're now on the last leg of your tour of Russia and have returned to Petersburg, the place of the triumphant first part of your tour. The dazzling acclaim and constant social engagements, which at first you found exhilarating, now feel exhausting. Despite enjoying the warmer weather in Petersburg at this part of your tour, you feel a heaviness and irritation at the constant noise, dust and relentless activity. You return to the inn to find Robert has already entertained guests, the State Councillor Michelson and his daughter. Here in Russia, the fascination and respect for foreign musicians has meant councillors such as Michelson have happily liaised and made arrangements a lot simpler, which have contributed to your tour being a success. No doubt while you were out, Robert and Michelson discussed some of the final arrangements of your tour. At 10 o'clock, you and Robert climb into a kibitka, a covered carriage, and drive with 2 music-loving friends and supporters to visit the Tsar's village, the great imperial estate known as Tsarskoye Selo. As a touring concert pianist, you've seen your fair share of European grandeur, but you're completely astounded by the scale, drama and splendour of the Tsarskoye Selo. You take some slow breaths to fully enjoy the beauty of the birch and linden-lined avenues, lakes and ponds, marble bridges and pavilions of this palace town surrounded by gardens. You enjoy a nicely prepared breakfast in the home of Count Bolorski, with its tall windows on the ground floor, decorative pilasters and iron balconies with delicate scrollwork. After breakfast, you're treated to a drive around the park in a long line, a carriage built like a sofa, with seats on both sides. You've heard this is a privilege only afforded to those who belong to the court. The beauty is breathtaking. The new spring growth, manicured hedges, the long, seemingly endless paths, the lakes adorned with swans gliding along in pairs, and pavilions punctuating private green flowing hills. You'd love more time to take it all in, but you must conserve your energy and your time to be ready for tonight's performance. From the park you go to view the new and the old castle. You're particularly interested to see the bedroom of Emperor Alexander, where everything is still the way he left it decades earlier. Rumours and controversies still abound about what happened to Russia's leader through the Napoleonic Wars, and the preservation of his room is a memorial to him. From the castles you visit the arsenal, a Gothic-style pavilion displaying military, historical artefacts and gifts to the emperor. 2 riding saddles, completely oversewn with diamonds, particularly captivate your attention. You learn that one was a gift from a sultan to the emperor in 1829 to mark the end of the Russo-Turkish War. You've also spotted a number of items here of Napoleon's. For your last curiosity at the park, you're shown the artificial ruin. This was a piece of landscape architecture designed to look like the remains of a crumbling medieval tower, with broken battlements, cracked stone walls, a fragmented archway, and ivy growing around it. Imperial Russia is trying to impress upon you a romantic past, but you feel that reconstructing a ruin is somewhat ridiculous. At 3 o'clock you drive back to the inn so that you can get ready for the evening's activities. After a little rest, you dress for the evening. Robert laces your corset tightly and then helps fasten the boned bodice of your emerald silk evening gown, with its off-the-shoulder neckline and short puffed sleeves. You then step into the full bell-shaped skirt of the dress. Your jewellery is simple yet elegant. A pearl necklace and matching earrings. You want your music to be the star, not your adornments. You brush through your hair and restyle it, again parting in the middle and coiling it into a low chignon and tying in a ribbon to match your dress. Robert is also dressing for the evening. His white linen shirt with its high, stiff collar, patterned brocade waistcoat, and dark, straight-cut woolen trousers held together by braces contrast with the more ornamental and military-influenced cuts of your Russian hosts. At 7 o'clock you and Robert climb into a carriage with fellow pianist and composer Henselts to drive to Grand Princess Helene's elegant palace. You step out of your carriage into a grand portico and take in the dignified residence with its tall Corinthian columns framing the central entrance, the symmetry of the tall windows, and the sweeping views of the Neva. Your heartbeat rushes as you step into the entrance hall and see the high ceilings with their classical mouldings, large mirrors reflecting the sunlight, and marble floors with geometric patterns. As an experienced concert pianist, you're accustomed to this sort of venue and its opulence. But you still get a rush of nerves when you arrive somewhere you are to perform. You remind yourself of the years of dedicated practice and preparation you have put in. You are no fraud. You are an accomplished and revered classical pianist. You notice that the Grand Princess is drawn towards Robert and engages in conversation almost exclusively with him through the night. This gives you time to compose yourself for your performance. It's been a while since you've played, but when you sit down at the piano, your body immediately feels at home and returns to music mode. Your program is specially selected for a more intimate setting such as this. For your sold-out concert halls, you tend to have more lively and virtuosic pieces. Here, you'll draw out more delicate lyricism. You've chosen to commence with Robert's Arabesque, a dreamy and romantic piece with a touch of drama, followed by Robert's Fantasy Stück. Your playing does justice to the evocative and contrasting emotions. Then you play a piece written by Henselts. You give your audience a lively Chopin mazurka to break up the dreaminess, and then end with one of your own romances. The audience applauds loudly. You take a bow, and then return to your seat to talk with the guests. With the sun bright so late into the evening, the night seems to go on forever. After the performance, you go back to the Henselts house. Henselt is greatly revered here in Russia for his playing and teaching, but his house is not always a relaxing place to be. There always seem to be conflicts between husband and wife, and this does not go unnoticed by you and Robert. You stay on at the Henselts until about 11 o'clock, and then head back to the inn, this time in a simple drozhki, a low, open, two-wheeled carriage with a narrow seat and pulled by a single horse. It's a rougher and wilder ride than a carriage, but it's fast and agile. You walk upstairs to your room. It's much less grand than the palaces, pavilions, and castles you've seen today. But you're looking forward to a rest, so you're glad for a bed in any case. There's no time to read and no time to complete your diary entries. The diary will have to wait until life affords you a reprieve. Your time in Russia is soon coming to an end. You set out to earn an income and build your own and Robert's musical profiles. Although it's been a great success, the tensions in your life remain. Home life and the concert stage both demand unlimited energy from you. Financial pressures at home are mounting. It's clear to both you and Robert that your earning power as a concert pianist far surpasses his as a composer. Robert is increasingly unwell, and on top of that, You long for time to compose, but spending time on this is almost impossible for you to justify. As you close your eyes, you know you won't solve this tension today. You can only hope for better health for Robert soon, and for the energy to keep providing for your family once you're back home with your two beautiful daughters. Thank you for listening to this episode of Walks in Time. I hope you've enjoyed experiencing what it may have been like to be in Clara Schumann's shoes for a day. Please join me for another episode soon. Bye for now.